Hey everybody, it's Metroid Flux. Welcome back to Let's Play Metroid Prime. Or call me whatever you want to call me, and I'm so hurried up because this is the final battle and I just belched in the recording. Oh my god. GG. Also, that is terrifying, that face on the right-hand scan. At Metroid Prime, highly evolved phazon-producing life form. The aberration known as Metroid Prime is the source of phazon, making it immensely powerful. A genetic flaw makes it susceptible to certain weapons for brief periods. Only its head is truly vulnerable, other attacks are a nuisance. Offensively, Metroid Prime has a number of natural and mechanical weapons at its disposal. These include ultra-frigid breath, multi-missiles, snare beams, and particle wave projectors. And its massive strength and barbed carapace make it lethal in melee combat. Recommend maximum firepower when engaging this enemy. Well, we don't have any other choice but to engage it, so... Anyway. Again, it's color-coded. Whenever it's yellow, power beam based attacks will do damage. Whenever it's any other color, like purple, you switch to your wave beam and such. Super missiles will be useful. The ice spreader is also slightly useful against this boss, which is one time it's considerably useful, but it's not in general the best either still. So yeah, and also it's going to keep digging down. And just in case you're wondering, yes, this is the final boss. Yes, I don't have 100% scans yet. Yes, there is a second phase to the boss that has its own separate scan. Just in case you didn't still know that at this point. Yeah, lock on to its face and fire away with whatever beam it currently is. It'll start switching it up later on, and it'll get increasingly fast and annoying. These little tunnels can be useful to get away from it when it is switching sides in this room, but the middle one is also where it drags its tail. Okay, also these things you're going to want to shoot, because otherwise when they hit you they will cause damage. Also, they also seem to drop pickups. So yeah, hiding in the middle one is maybe not the best course of action, but hiding in the side ones can get you keep you from being damaged. Well, it's vulnerable to ice. Let's try the ice spreader. Oh, it froze it, and that did considerable damage actually. Maybe that's why it's considered so good against this phase of the boss. And as we keep digging down, the rooms keep getting weirder and weirder. That's the snare beam it was talking about. Now it's weak to the plasma beam, which don't even bother trying to use the flamethrower. Just scorch it as it is. Yes. Stay in this side. It also kind of, when it runs across, it'll end up like pulling you out through its, like, it'll run so fast that the wind will kind of pull you out of the trench. Okay. That was a little unwelcome, but yes, see, this is going to be... This fight basically turns into a war of attrition. No, well, not really, because there are specific strategies, but it can take a fairly long time even so. And eventually it's going to start switching up its beams in mid-phase, but I don't know how long it'll take for it to do that. Okay. Ice beam. Time to freeze you, good sir. And we basically just keep jumping down. And actually, if you look at the map, these have their own room names. Subchamber 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this one has an entrance, has its exit on the side already marked. I think this, yeah, this is where it starts changing up its phase. So one strategy, I guess, could be to pick a beam that you want it to be vulnerable to, and wait until it switches to it, if it does that. Or you could just try and be fast. That's always an alternative. But yes. Now that we've actually gotten its health this low, we've almost beaten this phase. But what is it gonna do after this? Only time will tell. Okay, it switches up the beams, but not fast enough to actually throw you off, really, usually, unless you're getting caught in its firepower. Okay, now it's getting a little faster. And also now it's starting to dash across any damage, small damage. So, yeah, you can actually see its face kind of still in there whenever the top of the shell opens. Yeah, I think that did it actually. Yep, and it digs through the side of the room and falls into a pit. What's down here? The only way to know is to jump and find out for yourself. Which Samus does without any fear. And now it's discarded its shell. And this is the true form of Metroid Prime. A giant blue brain with red tentacles. Which is also slightly creepy. Of course, since the Metroid Prime scan indicates that the Phazon energy form of Metroid Prime is invulnerable to all conventional weapons. Only attacks from a Phazon-fused arm cannon will damage it. Generates pools of Phazon when it attacks. Use these to fuel your suit's Phazon weapon system. The entity can also spawn Metroids to assist it in battle, rendering itself invisible when it does so. 100% of all logbook scans. And that basically told you what the final beam was. The final beam. The final upgrade that I mentioned earlier that we got with the Phazon suit. We now know what that is. It made a pool of Phazon and disappeared. It will be visible to one of your two alternative visors, and standing in its liquid puddle of liquid Phazon will trigger hyper mode, which will turn your beam into the Phazon beam, which you got at the same time as your Phazon suit. And also, you can just hold the button to fire. Also, this thing looks really creepy when it's visible to the thermal visor. And becomes a battle of wait till it makes a pool of pure Phazon, and then use that to attack it. And so on and so forth. Actually, technically, if you still have power bombs from before, you can use them against the standard Metroids in this fight. But they're not fission Metroids, so they're not as urgent to do that with, I suppose. But as for either phase of the final boss itself, power bombs, like I said, do just about jack. So don't worry about having them for this fight. Here it is, making a little Phazon. I'll try the X-ray visor. Yes. You can die. You're probably going to want to keep it to the defaulted to the ice beam when you're not, so that you can deal with the standard Metroids whenever you have to. And even when there's no Phazon to attack him with, try and keep your visor in whatever this is visible to. I'm kind of bad with that. Oh, I think it actually does spawn fission Metroids. Oh, crap. Well, in that case, then let's just deal with this thing as quickly and efficiently as possible. Let's say you do that. Say we do that. Yeah, I really don't have a whole lot to say. This is the final episode of this LP. And I'm feeling glad to finally be done, because I enjoyed it. But this LP took forever. Okay. Sirs. The Phazon Beam also effectively takes out the Metroids no matter what kind they are. So if it gives you a particularly bad type, then that can help if you can manage it. But as you can see, my energy is rather low. I'm below half health. Which isn't that bad since it's the final boss and there's really not a whole lot it can do to us besides the Metroids, and occasionally whenever we're trying to attack it, it'll attack us instead. But that's it. With that rather creepy ending scene, we see the true essence of Metroid Prime standing next to a missile pickup. And it does something suggestive to Samus and restores us to the gravity suit, which actually is kind of nice, but what happened to our Phazon suits? That's a little ominous, shall you say. Crater collapse imminent. Evacuate immediately. Evacuate immediately. which she does. You don't even get a chance to play through that escape sequence. And then you call in your ship, and because the temple is exploding around you, and you jump off the cliff, and your ship catches you because you made it to do so. And the gravity suit's colors look a little off here for some reason, because the cutscene had to be pre-rendered and they made the purple a little different. And also, you take off your helmet, and Samus's face looks a little obviously spliced in. What the heck is that on her nose? She had like black marks around the side of her nose. It almost looked like a weird sideburn equivalent of a mustache. I don't know. But yeah, with that brings us to the end credits of the game. It was quite a ride. I took my sweet time making it, and I kind of, at the time of recording this, I have only uploaded 20 episodes. So there's going to be about, I think, 7 more or something that I have to edit still. But all in all, actually getting this finished it feels good, because now I can move on to other things and actually try and make my time to do things. Well, your last name is Ditz. Wow, I kind of lost my train of thought by commenting on a guy whose half of his last name was Ditz. I am so mature. Of course, there's Satoru Iwata and Shigeru Miyamoto. And the music by Kenji Yamamoto. It's great music, so that's worth pointing him out. I love great music in video games or anything. So, but yeah. Now that I've done now I'm done recording this, I can move on to other projects that I'd like to do and that I'd like for you to be part of. So maybe with all that, we can move on from what was still a fun LP, but it started to drag for various reasons that were probably more my fault than anything else. And it turns out that it's not very long to watch, or as far as like the length of the LP episode wise. Whoa, that is a wall of text. I forgot. Holy crap, I forgot about this. But yes, we can hopefully move the channel along with both me and all of you guys who might be out there watching. And now that we've flown away from the planet that we've been adventuring on this whole time, percentage complete, 100%, total time 10 hours 11 minutes. Not that bad. I think I could be faster. Not all of that was time that's going to show up on the LP, but what's this? This looks like the cavern that had imploded beneath us when we were leaving. That looks like our Phazon suit, but with a creepy hand, like claws, and an eye in the back of the hand. What could that be foreshadowing? Maybe we'll find out later on this channel. But for now, I will see you later.